Hey, Amy, can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, I knew there was something wrong with this. Hold on.
Okay.
I wanted to use my little speaker. I don't know if I can do it with the thing on. Okay. Say something now. Oh, yeah. Now I can hear everything. So the question is, do I want to wear these giant headphones or not? I don't know. They're
Okay.
so goofy. Hey, Steph. All right. Hi. All right. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I can't.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that.
Hi, Steph.
Hi. I'm moving location, so I'll be right back. Oh,
Okay, cool.
I'll just do this.
Where'd it go? I don't know. What happened?
All right. We can see you. We can see you and hear you.
They can. We can hear them.
You
Can't
can't
see
see
them.
us, though. You may
We'll
have
find you here.
accidentally
Just a minute.
minimized your screen. Could be something like that.
Minimize the screen. Okay. I see you. There we got you.
Woo! All right, I have to step away for just a moment, you guys. I will be back in just 1 second.
Okay. Really, all she sees is our chandelier. Is that it? Yeah. See us right there? There you go. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Pam's gonna see it. Okay. Yeah, you might speed it up this way. We'll show that to you.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Or far
Hi,
away.
guys. All right, how's everybody doing this morning? Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, awesome. Perfect. All right. So, who all do we have on this morning? I've got a lot of really small screens, so I can't necessarily see everybody really well. Okay, it looks like that's Jessie Jean there. We've got Carla here. Steph's on here. Sylvia, was that the name that is that the right name? Okay, you guys just went on mute.
Okay.
I know I met one of
Yes. Sylvia is actually Alice using Sylvia's device.
Okay, I knew I recognized Alice, but I couldn't remember her name. And I was like, I don't think it was Sylvia. All right, and then you've got a couple of friends there with you, it looks like, which is awesome. Oh, you guys are on mute again. Hold on, let me see if I can take you off of mute. I know how to do this with the kids in my classroom, but our thing looks a little bit different for some reason here.
I think you can spacebar too, maybe.
I think if you hit participants, you can see everybody, and I think you can unmute them from there.
That is
Okay.
it. Okay.
Oh,
But they're unmuted now. So it looks like you've got a couple of friends with you, Alice. Yeah?
Yes. We are actually on a sister getaway weekend, and I got my Healy 2 days ago, so we have been vibrating.
That is so awesome. So you guys have played
Yeah,
with it a bunch?
We have played with it a bunch. These are my sisters, and we're just really interested, and we have questions.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, we will answer all of your questions today, or at least we will try. And if we can't find the answers, we will figure it out. Okay. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. I think this is going to be our group for today. So my name's Leslie Christine, and I got my Healy about, I guess I ordered it in May and got it in June. So I've been playing with it for a few months now, and I am loving it. It has been lots of fun. Oh, look, we've got Leah jumping in. Let's let her in really quick. We might have a few people jumping in over the next few minutes too. All right. We'll wait for her to get connected to audio here. Oh, she's still jumping on. Okay. So I think, hey, Leah, welcome.
Hello.
All right, so I think this is our group for today. And I'm so excited that we have some questions, because questions are always really fun and they kind of help us to know, I think, what information people are looking for too, because sometimes we know why we got it, and then after we've had it a while, you start to forget the questions that you initially had about it, right? So I think that's always a good thing. All right, so what I'm going to do though is I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. We do have a little bit of a presentation. It's got some slides and things that tells a little bit about it. And when you guys come up with questions, you just interrupt us. Ask your questions anytime. That'll be totally fine. And let's see, we've got somebody else jumping on. So let's see who it is. It does not have a name, so we'll find out here in just a moment. Oh, and is my volume okay for everybody? Okay, Amy says good. Okay, awesome. All right, and then we had somebody else jump on. I'm not sure who it is though, because it only shows me a phone number. So if you want to say hi, you're welcome to jump on and say hi, although I see that there's no microphone showing over there, which makes me think they might not even be able to. So welcome to you, everyone who is here this morning. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here. I think we have a lot of fun at these meetings. I have a lot of fun at these meetings, and I'm learning a lot by doing these meetings. So that's my hope for everybody else that's here as well. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the presentation. That way we can kind of move through that part and get to kind of questions and chatting and demonstrations and things like that. So I am going to share my screen here, and I think I've got it pulled up at a random page. I don't have it at the beginning, so I will move it to the page I want it to be on once we get there. All right, can everybody see that all right? All right. Okay, so here is, let's see, where do I want to start? This page right here. Okay, so I would like to show this slide because it kind of shows you there are some other products, but it shows you the one we're going to talk about today is your basic Healy, which I've got mine on right here. And there are some other things available that I haven't gotten too far into yet. I'm starting to explore the watch that you can see off to the side there. I know somebody on our team has got the watch, but I haven't, I think she just got it like yesterday. So I'm looking forward to her trying it out and telling us all about it. And then I've started to hear recently about the digital nutrition scanner, and that sounds really exciting to me too. But so basically the slide is just to let you know there are some other products available out there with the Healy. The one we're going to talk about today is the basic Healy. And okay. All right, so we're going to take a quick peek here at the little disclosure notice first. It's important, I think, for us to start with that. So Healy is a microcurrent medical device that has been cleared by the US FDA for relief of acute, chronic, and arthritis pain and muscle soreness due to overexertion. Healy also has non-medical applications that use individualized frequencies to help balance your mind, body, and relieve stress. Always use your Healy in accordance with its instructions of use. Okay, Carla, that was you that jumped on that I
Yeah.
wasn't sure who it was.
I was having a problem. I couldn't get the audio to work when I first
Okay,
came
yeah,
on.
I could see. I was like, there's no microphone. I don't know what that is.
I know. And so finally I shut it off and came back on.
All right. Yep, that
Okay.
sometimes seems to work better than anything else, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got our disclosure out of the way. I think it's always important that we read that out and just kind of get that done at the beginning here. We have this little slide here that talks about, we're talking about Healy. Healy's a frequency specific microcurrent device. And so here we're looking at a little model that shows you kind of the frequencies of these cells. So you've got your young healthy cell here in the corner, and they're showing some frequencies that are associated with that. And then as the frequency changes, we move toward cell death through things like aging and aches and pains and inflammation, reduced blood flow. That's actually that reduced blood flow. Everybody who knows me knows that the blood video is my favorite. And I should probably have that queued up to show at these meetings sometimes, because the blood video, if you haven't seen it, it shows someone using the Healy for an hour, 1 hour program, and we see that their blood was all stacked and stuck together in the first part. They're showing it microscopically, and then after 1 hour of using the Healy, the blood is flowing and it's got space and it's more what it needs to be. They said it improved by 50%. It's a doctor that's looking at it, but that was after 1 Healy use. So we can see there that the Healy is doing something to change what's happening inside our body. That's what got me so excited about the Healy. I have a program running right now, and I kind of forget they're running when they're on, because you don't really feel a whole lot typically. If I pay a whole lot of attention, maybe I can feel it, but I have the pure program running on myself right now. And I kind of like, oh yeah, is it still running even? Like, I have to go look, is it still running? And I do have that 50%, so I've kind of increased the percentage that I use. But that blood video that showed the improvement in the blood kind of helped me to see that every time I use it, whether I feel like it's doing anything or not, like, this is what it's jumping in there and doing. So I love that. All right. And I think I am going to go and stay back on this page while I tell a couple more pieces of information. So Healy's parent company is called Time Waver, and Time Waver is available only in like doctor's offices and things like that. The machines cost between $30,000 and $80,000. So this is something that's been a therapy that you can go to the doctor's office and have them do for you. This is the first time it's been available for personal use at home. So that's part of what's so exciting about it. And we do have some Time Waver therapists that are involved with Healy, obviously. And so here is what one of the Time therapists, kind of how they describe it a little bit. They are saying that the microcurrent you receive from the program acts at the cellular level. So right now I'm receiving microcurrent as we speak. And it's working at the cellular level to increase the energy production in the cells, basically. And it increases them by like 500%, I think, is what the increases. So it's significant how much it's increasing the energy in the cells. And then it also increases, oh, now I have to work my way through this and see what I want to say here. I'm just going to read it straight out. So it's a little scientific. So if you don't like the scientific stuff, that's okay. We'll move on to other things here in a moment. So the frequencies delivered within the microcurrent by your Healy work in the same way that homeopathic remedies work, by resonance. Equal and opposite waves cancel each other out. There must be a near perfect match between the resonant frequency of the issue and the resonant frequency being applied. And what's cool about that, they're saying, oh, you need the specific ones to have it work. is that Healy also has this quantum sensor inside that taps into your body to see which frequencies you need so that it is delivering you frequencies that are right for you right now. So it's giving you something that you need every time. And I don't know how well you can see that on here. Oh, wait, you probably can't see it very well at all at the moment because I have the the slideshow up, but it does as this is moving from one thing to the next, it shows the frequency over here and how it changes. So right now the frequency is like 239 636.7, and it just changed to 4389.1. So we've got some really big frequencies going out here right now. It does have 144,000 different frequencies programmed into it, but I love the fact that it's giving you something that you need every time. So it's not just kind of going, here's the program and we'll just throw them out there and, you know, you'll absorb some and maybe not the others. No, it's checking every time to see that what it's giving you is what you actually need. All right. And so that finds the things that are the most relevant for you right now. And what it does is helps to reestablish a healthy connection between the organs and the information field. And so the information field, of course, is basically the energy field that we have around our body, right? And if we think of everything as being information, then we're getting all of this it's in the field around us. Okay, so I'm gonna jump back in here, and I think there's just a couple more pages that I want to share. Okay, yeah, so here it tells some of the same stuff I said. We've got the quantum sensor inside that's analyzing your field and seeing what you need in the moment. It does have 144,000 frequencies. And we're going to share this page. Okay, the Healy Gold. So the Gold Cycle programs, I'm using a Gold Cycle program right now. These are considered the foundational programs. This is your base Healy is a Healy Gold, and this is what it comes with. These basic, and I'm just trying to move that so I can see it. I don't know if it moves on you guys' screen or not whenever I do that. So these are the programs in the Healy Gold. You get Pure, Care, Balance, Being, Energy, Relax, and Release. So Pure is what I'm using right now. Pure came up for me in my resonance this morning. I did an analyze on myself, and Pure was the #1 program for me to use. And so it says designed to support recovery from negative environmental influences, toxins, and the effects of an improper diet. And so do you know what I did last night? I had 2 glasses of wine, and I have not had wine. I have not been, I had decided I wasn't going to drink in 2020 at all. And then I didn't hold that up. But I've only had probably between 5 and 10 drinks all year long. So I've had, the occasional beer here and there a couple of times. And then last night I had a couple of glasses of wine. And I can feel the effects of that a little bit this morning because I have not been drinking at all. And so Pure came up for me this morning, which was really funny. And part of the reason I ran myself is because I was like, oh, I don't feel that great from having that wine last night. So let's see if my Healy can help me out a little bit with that. And so Pure is the one that came up for me, which is really funny, but also goes to show you like this thing really kind of knows what it's doing and what it's looking for. It's sometimes odd, the things that come up. You're like, wow, how does it know that? And so I do like to use the energy program a lot in the morning so that I feel a little bit energized. I use that sometimes before I even get out of bed, and it actually helps me to get the motivation to get out of bed. And then I like to use the relaxation program a lot at night. If you get a Healy Gold, you also get another program group, and we'll be looking a little bit more at the other program groups as well. And then I think with the Healy Gold, you also get the Deep Cycle programs, and there's possibly one more that they just recently added in that I don't even think I've looked into yet. I will have to confirm that that's in the Healy Gold, but I think they had given it for everything. So they're still making updates to these things. They're adding some programs and things like that as we go. So there's a lot that's happening here. Okay, now we're going to look at this next page, which shows you the other Healys that you can get. So Healy Holistic Health is the next step up. That has got the Healy Gold programs, and then it also has other programs as well. Local stimulation, that's the pain program. So that was the one I thought about doing on my own because I have a little bit of a headache, but Healy said Pure is the one that I needed. It has bioenergetic balance 1 and 2. These are fantastic programs. Let me see if I can find, I have another little page that I thought was open, but it's probably on my desktop here. That tells us more about what is in, oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, it's in the tiniest little writing too, so I have to get close to read it. So I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about the bioenergetic balance programs, because those are some of the ones that show up really regularly and they cover some really important stuff. And so in bioenergetic balance 1, you have things like immune system. That's the program actually that was being run in the blood video, where the blood had improved. It was immune system. It has one for cold and allergies. It has a program for eyes, which I'm getting ready to, I've done it a few times, but I'm getting ready to be very purposeful about running every day to work on my eyes. It's got a program for hormones, which is like one of the biggest things that runs our bodies, right? Very important. Intestines, nerves, flexibility, circulatory system, potency, menopause, and menstruation local. And then bioenergetic balance 2 has programs for gastrointestinal, bacteria, tonsils, liver function. Liver function, so important. I'm surprised that was not the one that came out for me today, right? Has intolerances, toxins, I can't read that. That says, oh, it says head, bioenergetic reduction of tensions. It has one for prostate, lung function, thyroid gland, thyroid, so many people have issues with today, joints and bones, and sciatica. Sciatica is one that I would have loved to have tried when I was working in an office, because I got to a point in my office where I couldn't sit on my chair. I think we talked about this a little bit last week too. Yeah. I would have loved to have used that program there. So those bioenergetic balance programs, I think, are really important. And then the meridian programs, I believe, are the next ones that it lists. They sure are. And the meridian programs are also really important. And we have things like large intestine, small intestine, gallbladder, joints, skin, heart. We've got hormonal balance, circulation, liver, lungs. Lungs is a really important one, especially right now. Lymphatic system, stomach, spleen and pancreas, nerve meridian, kidney, organ meridian. So it really is like dealing with very specific parts of your, of your internal organs, of things that are going on inside. And so I find those programs come up often in the resonance scan and be really important ones. We've also got mental balance programs. Those are important for so many people right now, especially as well. Sleep programs, that was one of the reasons my family was interested in the Healy, was for the sleep programs, and skin programs. The Holistic Health Plus is the next step up, and it adds, in addition to all of those programs, it adds learning programs, fitness programs, job programs. The job programs, I think the name on it is kind of a goofy name. Lately, the job programs are what come up for me the most often. Almost every day, the job programs is on. If you run a resonance scan, it gives you 5 different program groups, and that jobs program is on there for me almost every single time. And what that has is it has exhaustion, fatigue, it has positive thoughts and activation, and it may have a couple of other things, but I find it interesting that one is one of the ones that always shows up for me right now. And it's usually in top place at the moment. After I've run it enough, it'll probably start dropping down again. We've got special beauty programs that deal with hair, skin, nails, aging. We've got the chakras programs and then some protection programs. And the protection programs are things like they can do stuff with the electromagnetic frequencies that are all around us. So we've got general protection, which is described as energetic shielding. Electrosensitivity as an energetic balancing of the, I've got to get close to read it, of the tolerance for so-called electrosmog. There's one that's called cell. I did this one just recently, and it's bioenergetic strengthening of the cell. We've got mental for promotion of clear perceptual capacity, and sleeping, geopathy, subtle planets. So it even picks up things like the planets, and that has come up for me a couple of times as the #1 program on a full moon. So that was interesting too. I was like, oh, planets is coming up, and I know there's a full moon tonight. How bizarre. So yeah, you really pick up some stuff from that. And then the Healy resonance is the top model of the Healy, and that one has all of the programs on it, and it also has the Analyze app. And so now is the perfect time. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here. We'll come back on with everybody. And now is the perfect time to do a demonstration. So I am wondering who would like to volunteer to have a Healy demonstration run on them. Anyone? I know a lot of people here have gotten their own Healys this week, so that's really exciting news. All right, does nobody interested in having the demonstration run on them?
You can run it on me.
Jesse Jean's like, if nobody else is going to, I will. Okay, all right, we'll do one on you, Carla. So, Carla just got hers yesterday, right?
Yeah.
It was yesterday that it came in, yeah? Okay, so I'm unhooking myself from the Healy. So I'm taking all of the cords. So we use all of the cords and the wristbands for when we use it with the microcurrent. But when we use the resonance, it's doing something a little bit different. It's sending information into the information field. And Jessie Jane did a demo with us one week, and she could feel the effects from it, especially I think it was her neck was hurting, and that she said cleared up. And then Amy, did you do it last week? Mm-hmm. And I think you had a result from it too, didn't you? Yeah, so it's really neat that it can work at a distance like this. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how I do it, and especially for you guys who have the resonance now, because I know we've got a couple of people here with the resonance. I'm wondering if I'm just going to hold it up to my screen, I think. So let me see if I can pin my own screen to the front. There we go. Okay, make sure everybody can see it good. So we have two different apps. So the Healy is run by an app. The resonance, the pink one, is the one that comes with for the programs to use the microcurrent with, okay? The blue one is the one that you do the resonance scans with. So I'm going to open that one up right now. It opens up to a little notice, and I'll just click next. And I am going to add, so up at the top it says clients, and then it says lists. And so I am going to add Carla here to my clients. So I go add new client, and when I do that, this is going to probably pop down here. I click add new client at the top, and then it gives me all these options. And the options say things like individual, animal, plant, organization, building, vehicle. So you can actually run a Healy scan on all kinds of stuff. I do them for my household all the time to kind of to affect the energy within the household. But I'm putting Carla in as an individual. So not a building, she is an individual.
Thank you.
All right, yes. No, not an animal, not a building. We're gonna put her in here as a person. All right, and so I'm just filling out a little bit of the information here. I am going to take a photo here from the screen, so it's going to be not the best quality of photo yeah, not really a good quality photo there at all, but it gives us what we need. It gets us going. All right. And then I do like to make sure that I'm connected with the person that I'm running for. And I know other people maybe don't necessarily do that. And I think that it works out just fine for them too. It's just something that I like to do. Okay, so I am. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this button here that says record vibration. And then we hold the Healy in the hand and press the plus button at the bottom. And then it does that. It just is recording the vibration right now. All right, and so that's done. It just takes a second. Okay, and then up at the top, I click the little check mark and it asks, says the client has been stored, and I'm saying, yes, she gave me permission to do this. And then it asks, do we want to perform an analysis right now? And I'm gonna say, yes, we do. So that's what we're doing here. All right, so I am going to, I'm going to do an aura analysis first, just for fun. I think the aura analysis is kind of a neat thing to look at. So we clicked on the bottom one. It's going to click here. It says record aura. I'm going to click right here. And so it's recording the aura out of there. So we're just waiting for that to go through. All right, and then it gives us all kinds of information to read, which we obviously won't go through everything right now. But Carla, your heart chakra is high at 100, like it goes from a scale of 0 to 100. I don't think it doesn't say percentages, so it's at 100. So look, actually that looks beautiful. Look how balanced Carla's aura is. We've just got a couple of little dips here at the end, but look at that, all really high there, which is beautiful. So if I click start analysis again, it's going to do a little bit of a deeper analysis here. So it's going through and analyzing some more, and then we have lots more information. So you can play with these things as you can spend the time to go through and look and read all of the information. I'm going to read a couple of things off of here just for this, or to see what we've got here. And actually we've got, I'm noticing multiple things that are dealing with sort of male and the masculine, which is interesting. So the first one we've got up here is solar plexus. The color is yellow. The present state is violet. And the present state description says, and then the descriptions are always, can be interpreted by you in whatever way you interpret it. I think of them a lot of times the way that when people pull cards, that they interpret the cards for the individual. So I think of that, this is that. So what it says is the person tries to imitate the ideal picture of the father within the personality. The expectation of the father does not allow for the development of the personality of the child. But the first couple all talk about sort of the masculine. There's another one with the sacral chakra that says the color is orange. The present state, though, is violet red. And it says the fear of insecurity, for example, is being felt through the masculine power or strength. So there's just a few things here that are talking specifically about sort of that masculine energy. And then, yes, I can see you're kind of like, I don't know, I'm not sure. So we're going to go ahead and click the vibrate button there. And now what's happening is it is sending, this little device here is sending out frequency into the information field. So it's different than when we're connected with the wristbands and it's sending microcurrent directly into the body. Now it's sending out information to the information field. And what they found is that energy is not bound by time or place or anything like that. And so the energy can get to you through the intention of it getting to you. And we've seen the effects of that with both Amy and Jessie Jean. I always tell people it's okay if you say, if you don't feel anything, like that's okay, don't worry about that. It's getting to you anyway. And then we're only doing 1 minute and 20 seconds here
Oh,
to send that out. But what you can see is that as it goes, it's telling kind of what it's doing here. And now this doesn't not give the whole information that we saw before, but it says things like gentle and complete healing of the mother relationship issues, money, home, and it goes so fast that I can't read it all. Complete and gentle healing of issues of power, control, freedom, and personality by enhancing the color yellow in the solar plexus. So it gives us that kind of like what it's healing there. And we just did a little burst of it. I consider those little micro bursts of frequency that we're getting. So we go back, we hit that center button. And so this is important for all of you who just got the resonance to know how to work it if you haven't done it yet. Amy, are you running yours at the same time on your end? I'm curious. I bet she's got hers and is playing with it. So we go to the top button, which is the resonance analysis, and then it brings all the names up that are in my phone. So I'm going to find Carla's name on here and click that. And then it asks, what it says in the top is the focus. It says, with what do I have the greatest resonance now? And then we continue with database selection right there. And then it brings us up all of these different databases. There's a whole bunch of them. And in addition to all the Healy programs, it's got Bach flower remedies, Materia Medica, which I was told is like a digital homeopathy, amino acids, Australian bush flowers, Alaskan gem elixirs, Schussler salts, and I Ching. And I like to meditate with some of these sometimes. So I like to turn on these frequencies in the house and then sit in meditation. But what we're going to do for the scan today is we're going to go all the way down to the bottom where it says all Healy programs, and we're going to click on that one. And then we're going to say yes to do the scan. And then it has a little spot where you put your finger, and what it's doing is that's a focusing point. So it's just wanting you to focus on what we're doing right now. So we're running the scan for Carla to see what she needs the most. Okay, and then we get a list of like 5 things. And so Meridians programs 1 is the top thing that comes up. Gold cycle comes up 2nd. Chakras comes up 3rd. The skin programs comes up 4th, and bioenergetic support comes up 5th. So bioenergetic support is the newest one that they've added. And so what we're going to do is, let me show you all the way. I clicked actions, and then I'm going to click vibrate at the bottom, and then it's automatically set for 1 minute and 20 seconds. You actually have the ability to change that amount of time. You can go for less time, or you can even set it to run for like hours. So I think I might have set something to run for myself last night before I went to bed for a couple of hours. So we're going to go with 1 minute and 20 seconds. That is what it automatically defaults to, and click start. And so now it's sending frequency. Sorry, I smacked my microphone there. Now it's sending frequency out to the field, and you can see that it's going through the different programs. So we've got, I can't read it backwards, Meridian programs here, and then it's going to change to the next one that was on the list, which is the Gold Cycle programs. It's next on the list. And it's just going to move through those, sending little bits of frequencies out from those program groups as it does that. All right, so we're going to let that run for another minute. And I want to see, does anybody have any questions right now about what we're doing?
I do.
Yes,
Okay.
Jump in.
Okay, so so for the residents, you do not use the wristbands, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We just got
so
it like this.
Sylvia's doing one here as we speak, and so and the resonance is scan. So when she's doing the vibration through the resonance, do Pam and I get benefit from that sitting here by her?
That's a great question. So here is what I believe. I believe that you can set that intention to get some benefit from that, because when I'm running stuff for Johnny, I set that intention for myself, that if there's anything that I can benefit from here, and if I can be tapped into that too, I want to. And what I found when I'm doing energy clearing work that I do, so I do my own energy clearing work as well, in addition to doing stuff with the Healy, is that your intention is incredibly powerful. So if you set that intention that you want to get benefit from it too, I believe that you can. Yeah. And I see Amy
Okay.
shaking her head. She's like, yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, all
And
right, awesome.
so I do set that intention for myself when I'm running things for the other people in my family, is that if there's anything
Okay.
good that I can get from this, I'll get it too. All
Okay,
right.
can I ask, Sylvia has asked, can you explain set your intention?
What do you mean by that?
Oh, okay. So I literally, what I just think of is saying that phrase that I said. If there's any benefit that I can get from this, I want to get that too. Like once you say that, once you think that in your mind, you have set your intention. So just like whenever I said I wanted to make sure I was connected to Carla before I ran this,
Yeah.
in my mind I went, I'm connected to Carla and I'm going to run the resonance scan on Carla, and that's me setting my intention. But then I do something that's a little extra, a little separate. And this is what I do with my own energy work, is I do muscle testing, and muscle testing is a way to get yes and no answers for things. You're kind of testing into the information field and things like that sometimes. So when I set that intention, I'm going to connect in with Carla to do the scan on her right now. I'm going to see if you guys can see, my wrist here. I say, I'm connected to Carla, and that holds really strong. So that means yes. That's a yes answer. If I say, I'm testing for Leslie right now, which is me, I'm getting a no. That's a weak. It goes weak. That's a no answer. So I do testing like that on things, but I've been doing muscle testing for a bunch of years regularly. So I've gotten to where I'm really good and fast at it. That's something that sometimes people need to practice at a little bit before they can do, but everybody can do it. Everybody has the ability to do it. It's a matter of how much you trust the answers that you're getting. And over time, you begin to realize, yes, that I'm definitely getting these answers in this different way. But so anytime that I do things like that, I checked to see, am I connected to Carla? Am I doing this scan for her? And I'm getting a yes, that's what's happening. So the muscle testing can be, for me, that's really a big confirmation. Some people don't connect with it very well and don't feel like they're getting right answers. And if you are confused about that, then that can kind of muck everything up a little bit, I think. But realistically, all that's happening is in here, is that I'm setting that intention by just saying that I'm setting the intention. So, all right. So, well, what we're going to do next, that ran through and we got all the different programs, but the top program was the Healy Meridians Programs 1. So that means that's the program that she needs the most right now. So now we're going to click that middle button again and go back to the resonance scan. I'm going to pull up Carla again and ask for the databases again. And then I'm going to look through these databases and I'm going to find Meridians 1. Okay, so I've pulled up Meridians 1, and now I'm going to say we're going to start a scan, and we do the little focusing point to see what Carla needs most from Meridians 1. So we're just going to run that through, and then it's going to bring us up another list of about 5 programs. So the number 1 program that's showing up is gallbladder. Number 2 is heart.
I don't have one.
Oh, that actually is probably part of the reason it's picking that up, and it would be interesting to see how often that happens. Because it's saying you need some frequencies from gallbladder. So that's actually really, really interesting, and I would be very curious to see how often that one comes up for you.
Okay.
And then we've got bladder, the allergy meridian, and skin. So it's listing all the different programs, all these different programs out. And so what you can do from this point is we can click actions and vibrate, and we're going to choose a longer period of time now. We're going to go ahead and run this for 26 minutes. And what it's going to do is it's going to run through, so it's running like some frequencies from allergy meridian right now, and then it switches over to the skin. So it's running a little bit of frequencies from all those different programs to Carla right now. And so we'll find out in a little bit whether Carla notices anything, whether she feels anything, and it's okay if you don't. So never feel like I have to say that it does. No, it's so totally okay if you don't, but just notice notice what happens with you. Notice if you can feel anything, or if you notice any changes before the end of the call.
Okay.
So we'll come back to you on this. What I like to do, the way that I like to use this is then after I ran this scan, I would usually do just the minute and 20 seconds for myself with these different programs. And then I would say, okay, the top one that came was the gallbladder. Now I'm going to put on the wristbands and I'm going to hook up
To the other app.
the little cords, and I'm going to go to the other app and I'm going to run the gallbladder program. Go to the Meridians 1 program group and choose gallbladder and run that directly through microcurrent. So it's two different ways to get it, but the resonance is a good way to do it. And that can do it at a distance. And also if anybody there's a few contradictions with the Healy, like pacemakers. And then of course they don't recommend it for women in pregnancy because, you know, it's unethical to test Healy on women that are pregnant. But I think pacemakers is the big one. Maybe epilepsy we found might be another one. So if anybody had anything they needed to find out whether or not it was a contradiction, there aren't very many, just a few, but the pacemaker I think is the main one that you don't want to run the microcurrent on. But you can run the resonance if someone has a pacemaker. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up now for any questions.
Do
Okay,
you
I have-
know? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jess. Go ahead.
I was just curious about the monthly prices on things that are on the website or on the shop. Do you know anything about those? Because I've had people ask me
Just
that.
a little bit.
Okay.
I think that's also confusing because people are seeing that when they order a Healy, they're like going, what is this monthly? I'm going to be charged monthly for. That's for if you get the watch and then you have service to the watch. It's like around 25 or so a month to run that service to the watch. And then there is I talked about the digital nutrition thing that I've started to look into. That one has a monthly subscription. I think it's a little over 100 for that one a month. But the basic Healy, this one does not have a monthly fee on it. Once you've purchased it, you've purchased it, and that's it. The apps are free. You just download those and then you use it as long as you have it.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? Does that?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Who else?
Okay, I have a question. So
Yeah.
last night I scanned Sylvia here and it come up for deep cycle. But so we ran it on the resonance,
Mm-hmm.
but we went to the other regular. What do you call the other? I need two terms for the difference. The resonance and the not the resonance.
I just call it the Healy app and then the resonance app. So we'll call it just the resonance app. So you went to the Healy app.
And we couldn't find the deep cycle on the regular app.
Okay, it should be all the way down at the bottom. Are you in your phone right now where you can look at the app?
Okay.
I'm gonna do the Bluetooth thing.
Okay.
If you go into the one with the pink dot.
Okay. Well, so I've learned I have to keep turning off the Bluetooth and turn it back on to get switch between.
Okay, so what I typically do, I don't have to turn my Bluetooth off. I do turn the program off completely. So I close the app whenever I'm switching from one to the other. They don't work as well. Yeah, so if you're using the resonance, So if you're using the resonance, then you close that app down completely to switch to the other app.
Okay.
That might be part of the problem. Yeah.
Okay, now where were we? We were trying to find the deep cycle in the.
Okay, did you open up the pink app?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Healy app?
Okay.
We did, yay, okay. Okay, so go to the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, scroll to the bottom and see if you should see it. It's not the very last one, but it's one of the bottom ones. Oh, and all I can see is a bright light on there. I don't know if you can make it any darker.
Okay, I don't know.
You invert your screen.
I don't know, you do. Sylvia's really tacky over here. She's nice.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem to be there.
Okay, so
And-
I have heard of some things like that happening before. It might be that you might need to try to re-download the app. Just take the app off the phone and download it again, because Deep Cycle should be. Oh, you know what I'm thinking though? I think that there might be a delay of them adding Deep Cycle to your device, because the Deep Cycle programs are really potent. In fact, I felt like I had a little bit of a healing response when I first started using them. It's got, with the Deep Cycle programs, I think it shows like day 1, day 2, day 3, and then it has these other different programs. And I just went straight through them, day 1, day 2, day 3, one day after another. And I had a bit of a healing response from it. So I kind of started feeling like really like yuck after that. And I was like, oh, those are intense. And they actually recommend that you spend a couple of days on each day. And of course, I was powering through everything when I first got this. I'm like, do as much as we can. And doing it slow is better than doing it fast. So you want to like leave your percentages down in the beginning. And so it's possible that because you just got it, that might be why the Deep Cycle programs are not on it. I know mine was like that, but I think that they had just added the Deep Cycle programs. But then I think I've heard that might be part of the deal, is that they kind of don't want you to jump straight into that one.
Okay.
Also,
So it may, okay.
they might need to do an update on their software. Yeah, I did that with mine. It took I just needed to run the update, and then I had the Deep Cycle and like a few other programs that I didn't see before. So,
Okay.
If they go on the Healy app and just do an update, it might show up.
And I was going to ask too, Amy, you've got a resonance and you've got it out right now, right?
Yes.
I was wondering, can you take, because you would have gotten yours about the same time. I know you've just had yours a couple of days. So look on yours and see, do you have Deep Cycle on yours?
I was just checking, and I do have Deep Cycle on.
Okay. And Jessie Jean, you would also have it on yours. Have you noticed it or seen it on yours?
I haven't noticed.
Okay. It might be, I know in the beginning when I got mine, I had the holistic health, and I did not, it took me days to start like investigating all the different tabs that I had available to me.
The same few ones.
Okay. So, but I think Amy might have gotten hers about the same time that you did, Alice. So in that case, yeah. And I think Leah's right that you may want to look for the updates.
Powerful. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, on mine, Deep Cycle is listed underneath protection programs and above bioenergetic support, if that helps.
And I think bioenergetic support is a new one they've put on recently. Mine did not have it. It came up one day and then it wasn't on my device, but there had just been an update that some people were not doing well with. So I didn't bother to update I was like, I'll just update later because mine's working really good right now. I'll wait till they've worked out any kind of bugs that they've got going on with this update. I think that they have worked those out now, though. I think that I've seen that everything's running smoothly, and I have not looked at my device to see if the bioenergetic support is on there since then. So at some point I will. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I was just wondering, you said on the analysis something about a homeopathic, could you tell me more about that? Because I use homeopathy. I just didn't even know it was in the resonance.
Yeah, so it's listed in there as Materia Medica, and I've got this running right now, so I can't go back in to get it, but I know I've used it a couple of times. So the things that I can recall in my brain that came up with it were, one I think was called agrimony. Does that sound familiar to you? Okay. And basically what it is they've taken the homeopathic remedies and they've like digitized the frequencies into the Healy. So instead of using, I know, right? So then you would just use it. It only is through the resonance. But yeah, you would just run it and you're basically sending the frequencies of the homeopathic remedies to somebody through the resonance.
And I didn't even know that. I'm learning so much from you all the time. That's great.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad to hear that you're learning something. So that's my goal, I guess, is that everybody goes away with questions answered and have learned something. And I learned something as well from the questions people ask and stuff. And also just it's been so helpful to like, I've learned so much about it by giving this presentation and by talking to people about it in this way. So awesome. Yeah, it's got some really, really cool stuff that I haven't even hardly begun to play with on the resonance. So
That is so exciting. I can't wait to use it on my son. I'm so excited.
awesome. I think the amino acids one is really intriguing as well. And that's one I haven't played with a whole lot, but I know that, you know, the amino acids are a really important part of having a healthy body and something that people don't always get. And so, yeah, there's so many things to play with this thing. It's so cool. All right. I think, Alice, you may have had another question as well.
Yeah, I'm, well, okay, how many, I think it's 3 programs we can run a day?
Yeah, so when you're talking about hooking up to like the wristbands or with the, you know, with the cords through the Pink app, 3 of those a day is kind of the max that you want to do. Yeah.
Okay.
And you want to start it at that low frequency. You don't want to bump it up to a really high one.
Right, the 15%.
Yep. And then after I think I waited a couple weeks. Well, I've had mine since June, so I've been doing June, July, August, September. So I've had it almost 4 months, and I've just recently bumped myself up to 50%. Yeah. So I've kind of just went, you know, a few weeks after and I think what I did is I kind of went when I really am not feeling it much at all. That's when I'm ready to bump it up again. If I can feel the frequency, feel a little bit of it, and you won't feel all of it, you won't feel even a lot of it necessarily. It's very subtle. But whenever I am not feeling anything, then I'm like, oh, I bet it's time that I could bump it up a little bit from here. Yeah. All right. Any other questions?
You guys have any questions? I don't.
Okay.
Trying to get your...
Yeah. I'm still just trying to get my head wrapped around the resonance part.
As far as it's sending, for example, like it's sending it at a distance, like what we're doing right now.
Yes, and even even while we're sitting here, you know, we've been doing that with. There's 6 of us, and we've been pretty busy with it. So.
That's awesome. That's so
it
fun.
is. So I don't even know that I've got my head wrapped around it enough to ask a question. So I'll wait till next week.
Okay. So I think I might have said this last week, but I think it's worth repeating. And I watched a video once with the guy who created the Healy. His name is Marcus. Leah, you might be able to pronounce it better than me. I don't know how the last name is pronounced. Schmicky or something. Okay.
He's a very smart one, but yeah.
So the guy who created Healy, I watched a presentation that he gave, and he was talking about, he studied quantum physics in college. And I watched him talking about going to a teacher once, having someone who was like a great mentor for him basically said to him, if you feel like you can understand everything about it, then you're not getting it at all. And so he had a teacher once in college who was acting that way, like, oh yes, I understand and I know all of this. And he said that he left the class because he knew that was not the teacher for him, because if you believe that you fully understand quantum physics, then you're not getting it at all. It isn't completely understandable. So So that's something to keep in mind when you're using the resonance. And if you feel like it's confusing, like you don't understand it, is that it's okay to not understand how it works. And it's almost like if you were to ask yourself, well, how does this information get into my phone? I have to know the mechanics of how this works. We don't really ask that too much, do we? We kind of go, cool, look what this can do. I don't know how it does it. I couldn't build one of these things, but like, isn't this neat that I have the access to this? The Healy's the same way. I think we question it sometimes because we don't, like with the phone, like you can turn the video on the phone, right? And if you had taken this back, if we took this 100 years back in time, they would be like, oh my gosh, this is magic, right? That you can like watch a video on this little device. They would have been like, what's a video? You know?
Yeah.
And so that would have seemed like magic back then. Like, how on earth do you do that? Well, this is the same, but we can't see the video. You know, we might feel a little bit of the effects. We might not always feel it. And so sometimes I think that's why we kind of go, well, I don't understand how this is working. And it's because it's not as evident as when we're seeing the video on the device. Then we're just like, I know this is happening. Whatever this is happening. I'm watching it happen. With this, it's so much more subtle that we kind of go, is something happening? Like, what is happening? So I think that that's sometimes where that desire to understand it fully, how it works, comes from. Is that we don't have something that's there to see as much. Okay. Does that kind of help you a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
And did you
Pam
guys have
has a
another one?
question. Pam has a question.
Okay, so kind of like the blood cell one kind of intrigued me too. And if you use a program for that and it scatters them and lets them loose, will they eventually clog back up together, or at some point will they stay going nice and running by themselves? Does that make sense?
Yes, and I don't think I can answer that question and be accurate about it, but I have my own guess, and so I'm going to tell you what I think, but that doesn't mean it's a scientific thought that I'm having.
Right.
I believe that if you don't change your lifestyle and you don't ever use the Healy again, then I believe that yes, it will go back to being the way it was before. I believe that if you kind of go, okay, there are some other things I need to do. Like there's a reason that my blood was like this to begin with. And if I can change some things in my lifestyle, then that's going to help it. And if I continue to use Healy, that's going to continue to help it. And I also think that over time, it would stay pretty good. But I think that always depends on your lifestyle. It always depends on, you know, how you're treating your body. It's like if you lose a whole bunch of weight, but don't change anything about your lifestyle and you gain it all back and you go, you know, so I think that's an important piece to remember. But also I'm reading Carolyn McMacken's book. So Carolyn McMacken is she's on the Healy advisory board. They have different doctors and scientists that are on their advisory board. She started working with frequencies back in the early 90s, maybe the 80s actually. And it was she had like this big device that someone had built in like the 1920s, but it hadn't really been like, they hadn't gone very far with this stuff. They hadn't tested it a whole lot. I think that it had been, I think that like the wars and things got in the way. Like there were things that happened in the world that kind of got in the way, and it ended up getting pushed off to the side. And someone had found this machine and started playing with it. They had a business card with a couple of frequencies written on the back. And that's what they used to start testing these frequencies. And they were playing with it, and they found that this, you know, this always works for inflammation and this works for that. And that once they got the right frequency combinations, and they're using it in a different way, it was different than, you know, how the Healy is today, but this is sort of where it came from, where it began. But they found that they could dissolve some things in a matter of minutes sometimes. So if they had a tough knot or something, like it was a chiropractic office that was working on it. So if they had somewhere where the muscles were really hard and like spasming and things like that, they found that with given the right frequencies, the muscles would just melt, and it would just dissolve. The knots and the things like that would just go away in just no time at all. They would usually run the programs for like 20 minutes that they were doing, and they could always feel right whenever it happened. And so there were people that would come that were having different kinds of chronic pain and things like that, and they would have to come back, and then they would go home and they would be pain free for a while, and then they would do something that would cause it pain again, and they would come back. And so they were coming back pretty regularly, but there was a point in time where the pain stopped coming back. And so what they were noticing is that maybe the person would leave, maybe they had been at a 10, on the scale of 1 to 10, they were at a 10 in pain when they came in. Well, the next time they start being in pain, it only goes up to a 9. And then the next time it only goes up to an 8. So it was gradually getting better and better until they got to the point where they didn't have to come back anymore. And in fact, she was asked to come to this pain clinic to work for a while because they were intrigued by what she was doing. And then after she had been there for a while, the doctor started complaining because she was like helping the patients to the point that they didn't need to keep coming back. And they were like, not sure. Yeah. And they were like, we don't really want you to do that. And she's like, I don't want to work in a place where the doctors don't want me to, like, where that's not what's wanted. So she went back to her own practice after that. But yes, I thought that was a really funny one. So I don't know, I can't remember anymore if I was answering a question on that, but I went off on a tangent. All right. So
I think I
go ahead.
agree with you, Leslie, as far as whether our blood is going to go back the way it was, because I think the world we live in, there's so much toxic stuff. I mean, even the air we breathe, unfortunately, and nobody, well, I'm not going to judge, but I don't think anybody is going to eat a perfect diet. I mean, I think we would have to grow our own organic food, eat it all the time in order for, our bodies to look perfect inside. So I just think the Healy is a great tool to help us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love having this tool to use with my family. I think it's so cool. All right. So I'm wondering, we're getting close to wrapping it up, but I want to see, does anyone have any kind of a testimonial that they'd like to share from using Healy?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Jump on. Let me unpin my video so we can. Okay.
Yeah. You can hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so as you know, I told you that me and my whole family have been sick. And
that's right.
Yeah. I mean, I was miserable. I was like just sinuses, and we're all just coughing and like fatigued. And I use homeopathy, and I wish I would have known that it does the frequencies for remedies, because that would have been helpful. But so we were sick, and I was running, the resonance a lot of my son, and the immune system program came up a lot. And it actually, because his fever just like spiked overnight, and in the middle of the night I put it on and I run the immune system program, and his fever just slowly started going down. Normally I grab the Tylenol and I'm like, okay, let's suppress this fever, but his body actually started regulating it to where it was a low grade fever. I could tell when he was sleeping, he was just a lot calmer and more relaxed. And so I was like, okay, well, when he's done with that, I need to run it on myself. And I felt like a sensation that I haven't felt before, just being sick, and you're in that state of just like, oh, I want to die type of situation. And I run this program, and I kind of get like a hot flash feeling, but in a good way. And I just start sweating. And I mean, I'm sweating. I felt like I was sweating it out. And it was a good kind of hot flash, if that makes sense. But it was just a sensation I've never felt before in my body. And I think in the healing process, I was really excited about it. I told my mom about it, and she's like, oh, okay. I'm like, But yeah, it was Healy definitely helped us get through a really what it seemed to be a very harsh virus that happened, and something that I think normally would have taken me a few weeks to like bounce back from, only took one. So I'm running the program right now, and the lung program, and we've been feeling great. So
Awesome. That's
yeah.
very exciting. That was one of the reasons that I wanted it too, was for support with just, sicknesses in general. Like there's just so many different things that it supports. Um, that yeah, I was like, oh, we need to have this.
Yeah.
I got to have this for my family. And that was actually part of how I looked at it too with the price, because it is a a higher priced item than other things are. But I was like, gosh, if we ended up needing to go to have a doctor's visit, how much is that going to cost for one person for one doctor's visit? And then how about for 4 people? How about if we multiply that by 4? So I did start out with um, the I got the holistic health, but I got it during the promotion, so I did get that. I put in about $500 to get started with Healy. And so I figured, well, that's like $125 each for my family to use this thing. And if we can have this all the time, like that's well worth it, because I also wonder how much, actually, Jackie is not here today, but Jackie has used the time waiver machine in a doctor's office. The doctor that she's been going to for 30 years. And she came on to one of these calls one day and was telling us that she did it once since she got the Healy, because she wanted to see what kinds of things they came up with versus what kinds of things her Healy was coming up with. And she said it was like this, it was the same. It was the same stuff coming up. And she paid $600 for the doctor's visit to find that out. And so that was, you can get your Healy for just a little bit more than that with the resonance scan and do all the same stuff at home. And she also said she mentioned it to that doctor, and the doctor was not interested in selling something that was going to, he felt like, compete with his services.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really what I would probably do is make his clients more like, you have to go to him because, he can really help you. Like I could see that making them love him even more as a doctor. And so it's unfortunate that we hear those stories like that. All right. So are there any more questions? I just want to make sure everybody gets all their questions answered before we get off.
I did have a question. What makes you decide whether you're going to use the resonance or use the other with just the wires? How do you decide what you're going to?
So for me, I do a resonance scan at least once a day, where I let it tell me what the top program is, and then I use that top program.
Yeah.
So I want to do that, every day to make sure I'm using the top programs. However, I also have been lately, I have like an itchy patch of skin that I've been working on. And so then I run the skin program. So I don't bother to do the resonance scan. I just run a skin program on that one. And something I'm about to start doing is working on my eyes, which means I'll run the eye program. I won't bother to run the resonance scan. I just know that that's something I want to work on. So I kind of make decisions about what I want to work on. Now for Johnny, he's got a lot of pain in his body. He's had like a bone transplant in the past. So, and then he's broken like all kinds of bones in the past. So he has lots of pain in his body. And so what I'll do with him is I'll run the resonance scan, but I'll run it specifically on the pain programs, so we can see which pain program is showing up as top for him, and then run that one. And then we can give him a burst of all those pain programs together. So I kind of make decisions based on what's going on at the moment. Now, sometimes I'll be laying in bed and I'll need to get up and I won't be feeling like I can. And then I'll just plug myself into the energy program and lay there for a few more minutes, and then I'll be ready to get up. But I just kind of take it on a basis of whatever is going on at the moment. Right now, I've been running a resonance scan on myself every day on Facebook. So I do it live. I jump on live and run the resonance scan on myself every day. And so that's one of the places I'm doing it, but I usually do at least one of those, usually twice though. Usually I do it again at night whenever I have got my girls to bed. I go in the bedroom and then I run all the scans on myself and do that through the resonance, and then run some programs for Johnny in there too. So does that kind of help you? Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. And I
Okay.
think you may have said this earlier, but I forget. Or is it just when you're, hang on, let me start over.
Okay.
Are you limited on how many times you can run the resonance on yourself?
No.
Okay.
You can run it and
This
run
one's
it and run it.
directly attached to you. Okay.
Yeah. So with the resonance, and sometimes what I'll do is I will run it and then I'll do the little burst of the frequencies for this program and then this program and then this one, and I'll just kind of play around with those sometimes. So sometimes I want to see, and sometimes I'm just curious what's coming up for me the most here, and yeah, I just play with it. But I don't think with the resonance, that one's fine. It's the microcurrent that you want to limit to 3 times. And I'll tell you what happened to us in the beginning, because we went overboard with it, is that I could feel a little bit of aching in my forearms. So I would usually use the wristbands, and I could just feel some aching in my forearms. And all I did to fix that is you can run the circulation program will help. So what's happening is it's basically there are toxins that are kind of being released into your body. That's part of the reason you don't want to go too much too fast, because you feel those toxins when they're coming out of your body. So the circulation program can help run some of that through. I think that what I heard Leah Steele say was that it's like uric acid in your blood or something like that is part of what's happening. So run the circulation program, and then that kind of clears that up, or the release program also can help to clear that up a little bit. And then if you are noticing that aching in your forearms, you turn it down. You've just got it turned up too high. And that's why I kind of am stair-stepping it up. And whenever I feel like I'm not feeling a whole lot from it anymore, I'll take it up another step. But I could always notice, if then I started feeling the aching again, I would just step it back down. All right. Anybody else?
I have a silly question.
Yeah. I love silly questions.
So, the little electrodes, like the sticky ones, do you only use those for like other areas that are not on your wrist? Like if you have pain in your body, and you stick it there, or am I supposed to be using the electrodes and then also the wrist bracelets?
No, so it's one or the other. You can use either or. And I think Leah had to go, but she bought some off of Amazon that are like soft, like cuffs that pull over her wrists and that have.
Yeah, go ahead. It's fine. Okay.
Is Leslie froze?
I think she's frozen.
She is frozen. It doesn't usually last this long.
I know.
She probably doesn't know she's frozen.
She's probably still talking.
Uh-oh.
Oh, she left.
Oh, so she must
come back.
I'm back.
Uh,
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can't
Okay.
see you.
You can't see me. Our power, or not our power, our Wi-Fi went off, and so I just went ahead and connected to my phone's whatever Wi-Fi. So my daughter was over there. It takes a second to turn it back on. I was like, no, what happened? So what I was saying was, the electrodes, they lose their stickiness, and I just need to order more, basically. So that we can use them more easily, but these stay on really good, where the electrodes that I have are kind of not super sticky, so I tend to use these more. That's my reasoning. Which It's completely unscientific and just a matter of personal preference there. Yeah.
And you said she bought like cuffs off of Amazon?
Yeah.
Like soft cuffs? That sounds
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, it looks almost like a wrist brace or something, but it's a soft thing that pulled down, and I think it was about that wide, and it just looked like, like a stretchy material.
With a little electrode, with a little nub,
Yeah, and then it had the little
whatever you
slide.
call
If you go look at her Facebook, I'm pretty sure she posted a picture somewhere.
Okay.
So you might be able to find it, or we can reach out and ask her for a picture of it and what it is, and if she likes it, make sure if she likes it. Another thing to know for all you guys who just got your device is that you can wet these wristbands down, and that helps conduct the electricity a little bit better. So what I do is I just get a little bit of water in my hand and like run it through like that, and now it's kind of wet. So, and that's it, and then put it on like that. And sometimes it'll work a little bit better that way, especially if you're getting the black line around the circle. Then you want to wet those down, make sure you've had enough water to drink. It's really important to stay well hydrated. It works best when you're well hydrated. Yeah. So Carla, the programs have finished running, so I'm curious if you noticed anything or felt anything.
I just kind of relaxed, really.
Okay.
But I felt a little bit of tingling in my skin a couple of times, but
okay.
Yeah.
And skin was a program that was on there.
Yeah.
And that's usually where I feel it as well. I will feel it a lot of times. It'll be on like the outsides of my arms or the outsides of my legs, that I'll notice it. So
yeah,
that was probably it then. Awesome. I think it's very interesting that gallbladder came up for you too.
Yes.
I'm curious to see if you had that come up as well multiple times.
Okay. Yeah.
Because then it's what your body is doing is recognizing that there's some frequencies that are missing there, right? That it needs those frequencies.
Well, at least they told me they took it out.
I hope that they told you accurately.
I'm sure they did.
All right, you guys. So I think that's all I have for today, unless anybody has any other questions, any comments they want to make, anything like that. No? All right. All right, you guys. If anybody has any questions about their device or needs any help with anything, you guys are always welcome to reach out to me, okay?
Okay.
And we will be doing another one of these next Sunday. You guys have a great week. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.